Hello everyone, and welcome back to our Enchanted Storybook Corner. Today, we're diving into a timeless tale of magic, curses, and the unwavering power of true love. Settle in, get cozy, and let's travel to a faraway kingdom to hear the story of Sleeping Beauty. Once upon a time, in a grand castle filled with hope, a king and a queen finally welcomed their long-awaited child. A beautiful baby girl. They named Aurora. The entire kingdom was overjoyed. Bells chimed from every tower, and the streets were filled with music and dancing as the king and queen prepared a magnificent celebration. To bless their precious daughter, they invited 3 wonderful and kind-hearted fairies, Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather. Each fairy came bearing a magical gift for the newborn princess. The graceful Flora stepped forward first, a gentle smile on her face. With a delicate touch to the baby's forehead, she announced, "My dear Aurora, I give you the gift of beauty. You will blossom into a princess as graceful and lovely as a rose in full bloom." Next came the cheerful Fauna. She leaned over the royal crib and whispered, "And from me, I give you the gift of song. Your voice will be as sweet and captivating as a nightingale's melody, bringing joy to all who hear it." But just as Merryweather, the 3rd fairy, was about to bestow her gift, a sudden and violent gust of wind blew the grand doors of the hall wide open. A clap of thunder echoed, and a chilling silence fell over the room. There, silhouetted against the stormy sky, stood the dark and formidable fairy, Maleficent. Her eyes burned with fury. "A celebration for the princess," she hissed, her voice dripping with venom. "And I wasn't invited. How dare you show me such disrespect?" Fear gripped everyone in the hall as Maleficent glided toward the crib. She looked down at the innocent baby, a cruel smirk twisting her lips. "Since you have forgotten me, I too shall give the princess a gift. But mine is a curse." Her voice boomed, shaking the very foundations of the castle. "Before the sun sets on her 16th birthday, the princess will prick her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel, and she will fall into a sleep like death." A collective gasp filled the hall. The queen collapsed into sobs, and the king pleaded with Maleficent for mercy, but the evil fairy only cackled, a sound devoid of all warmth. Before vanishing in a cloud of black and green smoke, all eyes turned to Merryweather, their last hope. She hadn't given her gift yet. With a heavy heart, she said, "I'm afraid I cannot undo this dark curse entirely, but I can soften its blow. Princess Aurora shall not die. Instead, she will fall into a deep, deep sleep, and she will remain so, only to be awakened by true love's kiss." Terrified for his daughter, the king immediately issued a royal decree. Every single spinning wheel in the kingdom was to be destroyed. That night, the sky glowed with the light of enormous bonfires, as the gods burned every last spindle they could find, hoping to erase the threat of Maleficent's curse forever. To keep Aurora completely safe, the 3 good fairies decided to hide her away. Disguised as simple peasant women, they raised her deep within a secluded cottage in the forest, far from the castle and any knowledge of her royal heritage. Aurora, now known as Briar Rose, grew up surrounded by the beauty of nature. She was just as Flora had promised, kind, graceful, and stunningly beautiful. And her voice, just as Fauna had gifted, was pure magic. She would sing to the birds in the trees, and the friendly forest animals would gather around, completely enchanted by her sweet melodies. She was happy, living a simple life, completely unaware of the dark curse that loomed over her. One beautiful afternoon, while she was singing and wandering through the sun-dappled woods, Aurora met a handsome young man. He was Prince Phillip, though neither of them knew the other's royal identity. From the moment their eyes met, there was an instant connection. They talked, they laughed, and they danced together, feeling as if they had known each other their entire lives. A true and powerful love began to blossom between them. But destiny had a cruel twist in store. On the eve of her 16th birthday, as the sun began to dip below the horizon, Maleficent finally found her. Using her dark magic, she lured Aurora back to the now abandoned castle and up a winding staircase to a hidden dusty room. There, bathed in an eerie green light, stood a single spinning wheel. Aurora, caught in a trance, moved towards it as if pulled by an invisible string. She reached out her hand, her finger drawn to the sharp point of the spindle, and she pricked it. In that instant, the curse came true. Aurora collapsed, falling into a deep, enchanted slumber. The heartbroken fairies found her and gently carried her to the highest tower of the castle. They laid her on a magnificent bed, a single perfect rose placed on her chest. To spare the kingdom the grief of losing its princess, the fairies cast one final gentle spell. A quiet sleep fell over everyone in the castle and the surrounding town, to wait peacefully for the day their beloved princess would awaken. But Maleficent's evil work wasn't done. She knew Prince Phillip was the key to breaking the spell. She captured him and chained him in the dungeons of her forbidden mountain fortress. "So, you are her true love," she sneered, her voice echoing off the cold stone walls. "Then you shall have the pleasure of watching her sleep for 100 years. But the forces of good would not be defeated so easily. The three fairies flew to the dungeon, their magic breaking Philip's chains. They armed him with the enchanted sword of truth and the shield of virtue, tools forged with the power of pure goodness. "Hurry, Philip," they urged. "You are Aurora's only hope." Mounted on his valiant steed, Philip raced towards the castle. But Maleficent stood in his way, surrounding the castle with a forest of impenetrable thorns. Philip hacked his way through, but as he neared the castle bridge, Maleficent appeared before him, transforming into a monstrous, fire-breathing dragon. The sky turned black as the epic battle between light and darkness began. Flames roared and the ground shook, but Philip fought with unwavering courage. He dodged the dragon's fiery breath, and with all his might, threw the sword of truth. It flew straight and true, piercing the dragon's heart. With a final, agonizing roar, Maleficent, the mistress of all evil, was vanquished. Exhausted but resolute, Philip climbed the long flight of stairs to the tower where his love lay sleeping. He gazed down at Aurora's peaceful face. She was so beautiful, it was as if she were only dreaming. He leaned down gently and gave her true love's kiss. Instantly, the dark spell shattered. Aurora's eyes fluttered open and she smiled. At that very moment, life and light returned to the kingdom. Everyone awoke, the sun broke through the clouds, and sounds of joy and celebration once again filled the castle halls. Aurora and Philip were finally reunited, their love having conquered the darkest of magic. The king and queen wept with joy as they embraced the daughter they thought they had lost forever. The kingdom celebrated not just the return of their princess, but the triumph of a love that was pure, selfless, and true. Aurora and Prince Phillip were married in a magnificent ceremony, and they lived, as all great fairy tales promise, happily ever after. And that's where our story ends for today, a beautiful reminder that even in the face of the darkest curses, love and courage can light the way. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this story, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. Until next time, stay magical.